So there's a lot of discussion going on surrounding Pokemon Legends ZA, and one thing that I feel gets brought up a lot is the new Mega Evolutions. Now, I will have a whole video talking about what Pokemon Z does wrong and what it does right, but right now I want to really hone in on just the new Megas because a good bit of people seem to really dislike them. Now, let me preface this whole thing by saying I'm specifically talking about the design and presentation of these Pokemon, not their competitive viability or battling prowess. So this whole video is very subjective, and I'd love to hear your takes in the comments below. But okay, a lot of people online feel like the new Mega designs are lazy, uninspired, or just flat out not good, which I just really disagree with. But to set the stage, here are all the new Megas in Legends ZA, not including the DLC leaks. In Pokemon Z, we have Mega Dragonite, Mega Victory Bell, Mega Clefable, Mega Meganium, Mega Feraligatr, Mega Emboar, Mega Starmie, Mega Skarmory, Mega Frostlass, Mega Excadrill, Mega Scolipede, Mega Scrafty, Mega Electros, Mega Chandelure, Mega Greninja, Chestnut, and Delphox, Mega Pyroar, Mega Floette, Mega Malamar, Mega Barbaracle, Mega Dragalge, Mega Hawlucha, Mega Phalanx, Mega Drampa, and of course Mega Zygarde. Holy shit, I'm sorry, we are going to say the word Mega a lot in this video. That's a lot of new Megas, 26 of them to be exact. And yeah, some are better than others, at least in my opinion. Mega Meganium just doesn't change that much, and neither does Mega Pyroar. It is pretty cool that Pyroar's main is now the Japanese kanji for blaze, or flame. Maybe they're the same thing, I don't know. I don't read kanji. Mega Clefable just makes me a bit uncomfortable. And Mega Starmie, well, we've all seen Mega Starmie. What? But for each of these debatably mediocre or weird Megas, you have a Mega Frostlass or a Mega Barbaracle, Drampa, and Chandelure.
But Toad,
I hear you saying.
The old Megas were better. Each one was a badass improvement on the original design that really made them feel powerful.
Okay then, let's take a look at some of the old Megas and see how they compare. In X and Y, the game that introduced Megas, we got bangers such as Mega Gengar, Mega Houndoom, Mega Charizard X, Mega Mewtwo Y, Mega Absol, Lucario, and Garchomp. We also got Mega Manectric and Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Mewtwo X, Mega Scizor.
Well, Mega Chandelure just got more arms.
Okay, Mega Venusaur, what do we got going on here? Oh, okay, I see, another flower, and some more foliage. Yeah, there's some more foliage there. Maybe some more of those freckles. Venusaur is my favorite Kanto starter, by the way. He just really was not given a great looking Mega, in my opinion.
Well, Mega Starmie is just silly. They could have done so much more with him.
Okay, lest we not forget that Mega Ampharos exists. Remember him? Remember when he was revealed back in 2013? People were saying the exact same things about him then that they're saying about Mega Starmie now.
Bro, they literally just gave him hair. Bro, they literally just made his legs longer.
Real talk, when I first saw Mega Starmie, I hated it too. But the more I see it, the more it just becomes so funny to me that I kind of like it now. Maybe it's like a Stockholm Syndrome thing, but I don't know. I kind of like it. The point I'm making is that even in Gen 6, for every Mega Charizard X, there was a Mega Charizard Y. For every Mega Salamence, there was a Mega Pidgeot. For every Mega Latias, there was a Mega Latios. And for every Mega Diancie, we would get something like Mega Slowbro. Which, I should probably mention that I'm not saying that any of these Megas that I'm making fun of are necessarily bad or objectively bad. They're not. But what I am saying is you can't deny that they are more niche or weirder or more subjectively disappointing than a lot of the cool Megas that we remember. Not saying they're all necessarily bad, just you get the point. We tend to remember Mega Gengar, Gardevoir, Rayquaza, Blaziken, and Alakazam, but then we tend to forget about Mega Audino, Mega Sharpedo, Swampert, whatever's going on with Mega Lopunny. No, don't forget about Mega Lopunny. I'm still just salty that she got an SIR in Phantasmal Flames and Gengar didn't, but whatever, we're talking about the games. And the particularly cynical of you out there may now be thinking, well, maybe Pokemon designs have just always sucked. And don't worry, I'll circle around to that in a minute. But first, I want to touch on something else that I feel is really important to this discussion, and that's leaks. No, don't worry, I'm not talking about leaks for anything we haven't seen yet. I'm purely talking about the leaks leading up to Pokemon Z's release. Something I don't think people tend to consider is that first impressions are important. Like anything in life, you only get one chance to make a good first impression, and the same holds true with Pokemon designs. There is a massive difference between seeing a design for the first time in-game for yourself and seeing a compilation of leaked images on TikTok. When you see something for the first time in-game, you have suspense, build-up, context, and then when you finally see the new design, you see it in the way you were intended to see it, with all its animations, effects, and sounds. You have time in between battles and mega reveals to really digest a new Pokemon and figure out how you feel about it after seeing it from all angles and having a sort of personal story to go along with seeing that mega for the first time. Now compare that to swiping through a compilation of leaked, low-quality images on TikTok of all the new mega evolutions. One after the other. Maybe you look at them for a few seconds before you conjure your opinion and move on to the next one. You see how that can taint your perception of a design? You may not feel like there's a lot you're missing, and hey, maybe you never would have liked the design to begin with, but I personally don't think that's a fair way to judge whether a mega is good or bad. This honestly feeds into a larger issue I have with the swarm of negativity surrounding this game, and that is that most of the hate I see online seems to be coming from people who haven't played the game, or likely were never going to play it in the first place, but that's a whole other topic for the why is Pokemon Z so good and bad at the same time video. Finally, I want to talk a bit about Pokemon's creature design philosophy, because a lot of people seem to really misunderstand it. I'll see posts online saying, by the way, this is what Mega Feraligatr could have looked like, and then they show some badass fan art of an even spikier, more ferocious looking Mega Feraligatr design. And yeah, it's a cool design, but is it a very Pokemon design? I want to share a statement by the legendary Ken Sugimori. He's been designing Pokemon since Gen 1, if you don't know, and he's responsible for a lot of the designs. This specific quote comes from an interview around Ultra Sun and Moon's release. Sugimori says that the technique I often use when finishing up designs for Pokemon is to, quote, keep the balance. I might try adding something uncool to a Pokemon that is too cool, or I might try adding something cheerful to a Pokemon that is too serious. I spoke about making friendly designs earlier, but what I actually do is take something cool and make it less cool. The interviewer was a bit confused and remarked that Lucario and Luxray are both very cool, to which Sugimori said, yes, but if you make Luxray's head smaller and its eyes sharper, it would look cooler. Making it cooler is an adjustment I wouldn't dare to do. He then goes on to say that he will often tell other designers to take away from designs that are too cool, because oftentimes what makes a design too cool actually takes away from what makes the design more memorable. On the other side of the spectrum, he talks about Oshawott, a very cute Pokemon. He says that a lot of people told him to get rid of the 3 freckles on Oshawott's face because it would make it look cuter. But Sugimori insisted on keeping the freckles because he felt that it made Oshawott more memorable. He then literally says, going by my standards, this is the correct way to design Pokemon. So if a Pokemon is starting to look too cool or too cute, they will intentionally rein it in a little bit to make the design more memorable. Now, you are totally in your right to not like that. However, this has been the design philosophy behind Pokemon since the very start. And I get it, right? If your favorite Pokemon is getting a Mega, you want it to look a certain way. You have an idea of how you want that Mega to look. But you have that idea because you're selectively comparing it to some of the cooler Megas that we've gotten before, while ignoring the stranger ones. It's fine to want your favorite Pokemon's Mega to take what you like about that Pokemon and just do it more. However, that expectation, I feel, is fundamentally setting you up for disappointment if you aren't familiar with this design philosophy. I'm never going to tell you that you have to like something I like or vice versa, but I think it's always good to have more context so you can rein in your expectations and understand the product you're consuming. Maybe those comments Sugimori made upset you. Maybe that's not how you would do it, but that's how it is. And not every design choice and decision that goes into a game is going to be perfectly curated to your likes and dislikes. In literally every generation of Pokemon, there is a handful of Pokemon that I really like, and then the rest of them, I don't really care for much. The same goes for the Megas, and that's how it should be in my opinion. Everyone is going to have different favorites, and sometimes we can all agree that certain Pokemon are really cool, like Giratina or Scizor or Lugia, who's actually my favorite Pokemon. But ultimately, everyone has a different set of favorites. I think Azumarill is awesome and a peak Pokemon design, but you might really disagree with me. You might be like my fiance and say that Wooper is a peak Pokemon design, or Diancie, or Lechonk, or frickin' Mega Starmie. But that makes your favorites stand out. If every Pokemon leaned into the design choices that make your top 3 special to you, then they wouldn't feel as special or unique anymore. If every Pokemon started to look like Lugia, all of a sudden, Lugia is not as unique to me. It's not as special. Besides, making every Mega sharper, meaner, and bigger would just get old really fast. They're like black shinies. You can't have too many of them because then they just kind of stop being cool. Anyway though, that's enough from me. what do you think about all of this? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed, then a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want to see something else from me, then I recommend you check out my initial playthrough montage and reaction to the game, or my video talking about why Pokemon Z is such a mixed bag, if that's out yet. Regardless, I hope you have a great day, night, or whatever it is, and until next time, Guardians, goodbye.